Don't you worry, the clip's about to begin, but don't forget to subscribe. Or else, don't make me turn this website around.
I want to get to calls because there's people waiting to ask you questions and stuff.
Do it.
So,
Do it.
Anthony in New York, you are on with Matt and Andrew. How are you?
Hi, Anthony.
How you doing, man? Hi, Andrew. How's everything, guys?
Good.
Hello?
Good enough.
Okay. So, the reason I'm calling is I wanted to draw a parallel between what's happening now with Trump and in 2006 in Thailand with this guy, Thaksin Shinawatra.
And I know nothing about it,
sure.
so
Yeah, I have to say, I'm sorry. I don't keep up with Thai politics. Certainly not from 06.
Yeah, the only reason I would know is I was living there at the time. And This guy was bad news, and he was kind of just like Trump. Same kind of tactics, talked the same way, acted the same way, same kind of origin story.
he was a reality TV show.
That's the only thing he didn't have in common. But it was the same kind of stuff, and what wound up happening is they had a coup. They overthrew the government. The military had to overthrow the government. Thaksin was here in New York on some kind of summit meeting. They came through the country with tanks and building machine gun turrets on the street corner. It was intense. They cut off all the TV, radio, internet.
Yeah. It was
So
what, 3 days for this coup or something like that?
Yeah, it was a non-violent coup, luckily. I hopped on a train and I got out of there. I went to Malaysia. I hung out there to watch the whole thing unfold.
It's probably a wise move. The thing that it strikes me right now about Thailand and Taiwan and New Zealand and Australia is like I'm really watching with fascination that the progress on the vaccine and other countries are making with COVID, right? And like the coronavirus is basically gone from those places, or it was. I think they might be seeing a little bit of a resurgence, right? Like you can see all these videos online, and they're living a normal life right now. It's crazy to see, and it's so frustrating for how idiotic half this country is.
Yeah. Well, if you want to hear something funny that happened, after they ousted this guy Thaksin, it was about 6 years later, his sister came into power. Yingluck Shinawatra, his sister. She was just as bad. They ousted her. They drew a coup against her the same way. And this is kind of like how I see the Trump family going.
Well, hopefully they never get power again. But yeah, I mean, I want to never hear from them again. Other than the odd, they're getting prosecuted for one of their crimes. I never want to hear or anything about the Trumps again. I would love to vow to never speak of them again. That's I'm going to go for that. Other than them getting thrown in jail or dragged into court. That's my goal post January 20th.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah,
I will tell you, Anthony, that
they are not going anywhere. These people are coming back for sure.
I know.
I will tell you though, Anthony, I don't have
the whole family.
They're not charismatic. They're not. I don't.
To some people, they are. To you and I, they're
yes,
not.
to some people. To some people,
they
they absolutely are. But I'll tell you this: I don't have any worry about tanks in the street or military coup. I have I served the military for a little over 8 years. I have enough confidence that the instant that Joe Biden is sworn in, any further attempts at coup-like activities will be met with the appropriate response, and there won't be tanks in the street, in Austin, Texas. Now, what there won't be tanks in the street. There won't be tanks in the street in Austin, Texas, but there will be mass coal idiot Trump-supporting conspiracy theorists with their Ford F-350 with 75 flags on it, parked on the overpass just above 6th Street, honking their horns and claiming, stop the steal for at least, a month after the swearing in.
It's scary though, because these people are fanatics. They get wild, man. And I don't know. I think it's very scary. I wanted to touch on what Andrew was talking about before for a second, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Which is about the red zones in New York. Yeah, I live in Staten Island, where on the news recently, I don't know if you saw it, they had this place called Mac's Pub, which was defying all the, because in the South Shore of Staten Island, they declared it a red zone, right where this guy is. Wouldn't close down his restaurants. They were hitting him with fines every day. This guy was trying to get away from the police, almost ran a cop over, hit him. They arrested him, and then they let him out.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, the really odd or interesting thing that you're seeing happening right now too is other businesses are challenging the orders as well. So religion, the free exercise of religion, is not a special First Amendment right. Okay, so like it's not more important than free speech or free assembly, or it's not supposed to be. So you have now, I think there are a couple theaters who are saying, "Hey, look, we are also under these orders, and we were actually like discriminated against when you compare us to the treatment that churches were getting, and now churches are allowed to meet, and we are art. We are free expression that is protected under the First Amendment. So we should be able to meet too." And you have the lower court judge in the case basically throwing up, I think, her hand saying, I mean, that is correct. We don't have a hierarchy of rights in the First Amendment, and that's one of the other things that this conservative bloc on the Supreme Court is going to work to change. We're going to see them start to stratify constitutional rights, making some more important than others, including the free exercise of religion, I suspect the Second Amendment rights, and then lowering and knocking down or destroying altogether, for instance, rights to contraception, reproductive rights, things like that. So, I mean, it's a deeply alarming situation that we've got coming on here.
And just like this, though, you think Trump's going to leave when it's all said and done?
He doesn't have a choice.
I think Matt and I talked about this too. I'd be happy to watch him get his ass dragged out. I would.
Oh God,
I'd pay extra. I would.
I don't know.
I would watch it on
repeat
for hours. He's a 76-year-old man.
Right.
And he's not. Like he's not going to stand up to the Secret Service or the Army.
A 7-degree ramp proved a little bit too much for him. So, not worried about him trying to take out the Secret Service and armed guards that are there.
But Anthony, you're right. I mean, it is alarming, right? Like 8 in 10 Republicans right now, according to a poll I just read.
I was in
8 in 10 Republicans think that Joe Biden is not. He's not a legitimately elected president. That's a huge problem for our country going forward. That people don't view our government as legitimate. I mean, that's a massive, massive problem going ahead.
Well, what about the other elections coming up, runoff seats in what, Georgia? Now the Republicans are worried that these people aren't taking the election seriously anymore because they all think it's rigged, and they're worried that the voter turnout is not going to be very strong.
Here's hoping.
Good.
Hoping.
I hope every one of those Republicans is unwilling to come and vote because they're terrified that it's not a real election. They can whine and moan all they want, but if their one act is to not vote, then that will not only teach them a lesson, it will be a shining example to all the people that I've been arguing with for ages who try to say that their vote doesn't count, that, yep, here's another example. You had the opportunity and you didn't.
Yeah.
Do you think we should get rid of the Electoral College, by the way? Just
100%. 100%. The Electoral College.
Okay.
If you believe
we're getting rid of the Senate too.
Yes. If you believe that one person should have one vote, the Electoral College undermines that. I mean, it says that some people's vote is worth more than other people's vote, and that's fundamentally unequal. I mean, one of the guys in the Senate, one of the guys who kind of helped convince me on this was a lawyer named Ian Millhiser, who wrote for Think Progress and now he writes for Vox. And he just said something the other day that stuck with me. If you were trying to design a government right now and propose at the Senate and said that like Wyoming or Rhode Island gets 2 senators and California gets 2 senators as well, I mean, you'd be laughed out of the building, right? Like that's a ridiculous way to design a government. It makes no sense. There's it is fundamentally unequal. It's designed to be unequal. So yeah, let's get rid of that too. But yeah, both of them got to go.
That's great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you picking up my call. And
absolutely. You going to hang up on us? I'm gonna. Yes. Oh my gosh, he did.
I wanted him to use his awesome New York accent to say something like particularly mean about.
Hey, I'm walking here, and then hang up.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for checking out this clip for The Line. While you're here, hit that like button, hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and then share this with that bitter uncle of yours who loves talking about the good old days.